So let's talk about earnest money.
Yes.
What is earnest money?
Well, earnest money is exactly what it says. It is basically what a buyer puts forward to show how earnest or how sincere they are in their offer. It's the teeth in the deal. And so basically, we use dollars typically for our contracts with real estate. And so it's the amount of dollars that they're putting in saying that this money is at potential risk if the deal falls through. So of course, the higher amount of dollars or the higher amount of earnest money is, the better it is.
So how much will that earnest money be?
Okay, well, there are different ranges, and there's different ranges that can be in our market versus other states. So there isn't a set earnest money amount in area nationally. So in our area, typically we see not much less than $500. Once you get to 100,000 or more, you'll see that be to 500 to 1,000 maybe for earnest money, and then anything above $1,000 is basically just going to make your offer look that much stronger.
So when do they give me that earnest money? Do they give me a check for that?
Yeah, good question. So the earnest money deposit and the type of funds it is dictated in that offer. So it's up to the buyer on how they present their earnest money to you and how they're going to get it to you through the transaction. It's in the offer.
And an awesome part of this is the buyer and the seller never have claim to that earnest money. It's held in a disinterested neutral third party's trust account.
Oh.
And so that way it's just better that way. Yeah. And no one has control over it except for what's dictated in the contract if the deal falls through. So typically it's held at the title company in their trust account.
So is this money in addition to the purchase price, or is it part of the purchase price?
Yeah, part of the purchase price. Mm-hmm. So if they say we're going to pay you $100,000, $1,000 of that I'm giving to you right now to show you how earnest I am. So then the contract will say the other $99,000 will come in this way.
And for the buyer, that's just a down payment on their down payment.
Right.
So if they have to bring in $10,000 as their down payment, if they put $1,000 as earnest money, they only have to come in with $9,000.
Right? Gotcha. Is it non-refundable? Do I get to keep it no matter what?
Well, that's all part of the contract. It's how the contract dictates. If a buyer is really wanting to put forth a strong offer and hopefully get it when they're competing with someone else, they can put in non-refundable. But typically there are many contingencies in the contract that we have that's prepared by the state of Idaho that protect that earnest money for the buyer, such as a financing contingency, an inspection contingency. There's a number of other contingencies that can be put in there.
And those are the contingencies that allow them to cancel the contract, get the earnest money back to them. So us as a seller, we've got to recognize that if we accept that offer, it's limited to the terms and conditions that they put onto that contract up to that point.
There's a common misconception actually with sellers that once the deal is under contract that earnest money is basically non-refundable. For a buyer, the only way that they really lose their earnest money is if they just get cold feet and walk away from the deal at the end of closing. So for the most part, there are protections, and it's not just that cut and dry to where a seller is going to get their earnest money.
And it's rare, but if you get to that point where the deal has fallen apart, the earnest money is in question, who gets it, it really is a legal matter, and you're going to need an attorney. So we want you to keep that in mind, that these are legally binding contracts, and we better understand them before we all sign.
Yeah, and our scope is limited as to how much we can do. We're there to help you negotiate and market, but we are not attorneys, and that's outside of our scope when there's basically problems with the contract and contract enforcement.
So who really determines that then in the end?
Well, a judge, if you go that far. But hopefully you can figure between agents and maybe a broker, if it gets heated, hopefully it can be worked out.
Yeah. But as a seller, do I need to recognize that most likely I'm going to give that earnest money back if they back out on a contingency?
Yes, because if the contract cannot be performed on because of a contingency, that is their way to get the earnest money back.
What are the main contingencies again?
So we talked about financing, inspection contingency, close date. What else, Chad?
I mean, those are the big three.
Yeah.
And going back to what you said, it's not that you're giving the earnest money back because it's not yours until it's been given to you. It's just how the contract is and who gets it released back to them through the third party, which is usually the title company.
Right.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. If you're enjoying our smart messages, Go for it.
That's me. We're already there.
Yeah.
I haven't even been watching.
Way to give me credit for your idea, for your commandment.
We'd love you to introduce us.
Please introduce us.
To any of your friends and family that might need help, that might benefit from this level of service, is really how Tommy says it.
And if you're enjoying these smart messages and you have friends or family that you could introduce us to that would enjoy these, that we could help, we would appreciate that.